And go. All right. We are here. We're so excited to be here with you this morning. It's a beautiful day. We've got wonderful background. And we're so excited to be here with you today. And welcome, Stefanie Joseph.
Thank you.
And she has a super exciting announcement for you today, but I know some of you don't know who she is. So let's start with that.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yes. Hey, so my people know. My friend Sarah's watching. Yay, got my first watcher. So my name is Stefanie Joseph. I'm the founder of Village Rising. And this is bottom line, a safe place for women and mothers, specifically geared around supportive postpartum depression, raising awareness, and, just changing the way that we view motherhood. There's just so much shame and guilt and comparison that just plagues us all as being a mother. And I personally, and we'll get to this, but struggled myself with postpartum depression, and it's a scary, dark place, and it's a place that no woman really should have to go through alone. And so I have a Facebook group that is just growing, so much support, but we're taking this to the next level, and I'm actually ready to birth this thing and really step into my greatness and serve the mothers and the women of our community. Every woman is a mother. There's no set definition of being a mother, and we get to support and love you all. So I'm so excited to actually share this with you all, and there'll be definitely more to come. So this is just really just that, getting it out there. And Ashley, thank you for just doing this with me, because I'm scared. I'm nervous.
You're doing great. Well, I just want to tell you how I know Stefanie, because not very long ago I didn't know her either. I mean, yeah, I wish I'd known her since I was a little kid. And we met at a business for women meeting, and she was at that time the major head of a company, which she decided to step down from to live her purpose as a mother. Tell me more about that. What made you make that jump?
It's just, I've been through a journey over the past few years. I caught my awakening, that just realizing that there is a purpose for each of us. There is a purpose there's one thing that we can do better than anybody else. And it's been a journey. It's been about a 3-year long journey. It's a great company, and I still work with them and partner with them. But what I found was I am just so in love with mothers. I'm just, there's so many unique traits of being a mother, being a woman in general, that, it's just time that we could actually serve them. And that's bottom line know is my purpose. And it's actually pretty cool to not only find what your purpose is, but to finally say, you know what, I get to do it. And I get to just every day wake up with zest, every day wake up with excitement, and be able to just love. And I got so many friends joining, so thank you.
And I'm really feel honored to be part of this movement. I really do. And I wanted you to be part of the earliest stages of the program. You're one of the first people that came to mind, because I feel like some of what I do is marketing related, and I feel like the whole world knows how to market to women. Well, lose that baby weight, and do this for your kid, and pay this exorbitant price for this thing that your kid can wear and look cool so they can fit in a group. It's like, come on, people, really?
Well, look at how many billboards you see driving down the street about, pinching skin. We're pinching skin, saying, lose this skin, lose that baby, 9 months in, 9 months out. And, it's just insane. Yes.
And so I feel honored to be part of a movement where mothers are moon and stars again, the way they were for thousands of years. and really honor and bring that back and empower women who don't feel empowered to connect with a group of people who can bring them out of maybe the funk that they're in. So, so back to you. Tell me more about this movement that you're creating.
Okay, so Village Rising, which thanks, Miriam, love you too. The name is divinely, it came to me divinely. It was really awesome. I was trying to name this, and I've always loved the concept that it takes a village. And, you know, when you do research on the village, on, you know, Native American traditions, global traditions, the mother is the center of the community. I mean, without the mother, you don't have life. We don't continue to bring babies in. We don't, you know, we will stop as a society without the mothers. You know, and we've moved so far away from that. We all live in our own little homes. We all do our own little thing. You know, I remember playing kick the can when I was a kid, and that was only 25 years ago. And, you know, you came home when the lights went out. That doesn't happen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so just, you know, bringing back this concept of the village, of having, you know, and don't get me wrong, because I know I have a lot of men that support, and we will continue to grow this movement with the support of our masculine counterparts as well. But, you know, I was reading just this week on all the Native American cultures. When a mother births, sometimes she goes and does it on her own. She's kick-ass. She just goes into the woods and she just does it. But usually she does have at least one other support person, and she gets a break. She has this baby and she just gets to love on the baby. And she's not cooking and cleaning. She's not worrying about everybody else, taking care of all of the visitors. She is being a mom. That's like, you need this bonding time. The baby needs this bonding time. And we really we don't do that anymore. I was reading that there's one tribe did 30 days of just simple bonding, just plain bonding. And imagine if we could take just a sliver of that, because, you know, our society has changed, technology has changed, you know, and that's fine. But if we can just take a sliver of that and provide the women and that support that they need right after the birth. Because the problem that I saw, and for me personally, is I was on my own little island. I was out, just hanging out by myself, lived, you know, not far distance, but lived far away from everybody, where I couldn't just call somebody and say, hey, can you come over in 5 minutes? I need a nap. Mm-hmm. It was lonely. And I have an amazing husband, and he's an amazing father to my kids. But when you lack the education and understanding of what, you know, the depression is, or what postpartum depression can be, you don't know how to reach out to people. And then you start Googling, which we all know Googling can be everybody's best friend or worst enemy. Yes. You start Googling it, and you start finding the guilt, the shame. You start realizing that, okay.
They're having a hard time hearing you. That's why I'm moving it.
Good. Sorry, good feedback. Thank you. So the Village Rising is that. It's bringing back the village. It's bringing back that support network. It's bringing back the support on the mother. It's allowing her to take care of herself. It's teaching her to take care of herself. And giving her permission. That's a big thing, is permission, is because women don't always do it on their own. And so allowing and saying, yes, you get this time to yourself. And Stacy, and one of my friends just commented that she couldn't find anyone who experienced postpartum when she had her first, because nobody talks about it. It's just like this hidden stigma. The statistics are insane, and they're all over the map, so I'm not going to quote any, because you have to have the reliable sources. But we've coined it baby blues, or we've coined it, you're just a new mother, deal with it.
Like, it's almost a cute thing.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing cute about it.
What's cute about depression, right? Or anxiety. People just don't talk about it. And I remember when I brought it up, thinking I had it, it was, well, this is what you've always wanted. You've always wanted to be a mom. You've always wanted this, so how can you be sad about it?
Mm-hmm.
Just snap out of it. And it's not as simple as snapping out of it. And I don't claim to have all the answers, but what I do know is that as we continue to grow the village and have that support, that mothers will be able to raise their hand and say, you know what, I don't feel right. And they have a place that they can go to, and then, you know, we can, if they need to move further. And the cool thing, and this is what a big point that I want to make, is at Village Rising, there is absolutely no shame. There's no guilting or no shaming. Western, Eastern medicine's all fabulous and all very much needed. And so it's just about connecting you with the right people, and then just having that safe haven and the love and my big hugs.
And she's good at big hugs. Like, that's a gift that she has that she can share with you. Thank you, everyone who is commenting. We're getting a lot of support for this, and just super encouraging. And I definitely feel like even before I had a baby, I felt like I was depressed because there was not a lot of resources. I felt all alone. And even an online community can offer support, just because you know there's somebody dealing with it, and even if that's all you need to know. But if it's not, you know who to ask for resources, and you don't have to just hide. And I think that's
a big thing is education. I was meeting with a friend, and she just barely found out she was pregnant. So she was 7-8 weeks and had no clue what to do next. What do I do next? And I made the comment, well, you go to your doctor. She says, well, my doctor won't see me until 10 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, that's pretty standard. I remember, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was, I'm one of those people that I don't stress about a lot of things. And so I was like, 10 weeks, okay, that's just what you're telling me, so I'm going to do it. But they don't tell you why they don't see you to 10 weeks.
Right,
so that leaves you those 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on when you found out you're pregnant, to just worry and stress.
Mm-hmm.
And, so
if I even still pregnant, I'm freaking out.
Yes, and it's when there's a problem that's when the doctor will finally get them in, or it's, they're spotting, they're bleeding, or cramping, and they just don't know it. So really a big thing. Is there a vacuum running?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I'm getting used to this live thing too, when people can actually interact with me. So really the education piece of it is huge. Teaching, like starting from a younger age, the teenage, understanding what pregnancy is. And I know there can be controversy on that, so I'm not going to get into that side of it. But what I really want to focus on is talking to women, girls, and not making pregnancy and birthing so scary.
Yeah.
Because there is that, I remember talking to my mother. My mother had great births, but you get into a group of women, what happens? Mothers, we start just talking.
Horror stories, and then up one.
Yes, yes. Like, it's just, you don't have that, I love sharing my birth stories. Both of my birth stories were amazing. Like, I didn't have one, and I don't think things are yucky, but not one bad thing. But we don't really talk about that. So there is a lot of younger women that are scared of it, and scared of, do I do the epidural? Do I do this? Is it okay that I get an epidural? Because you're hearing the natural childbirthing community, which is fabulous and fantastic, very clear that this is, our bodies can do this.
You get shoulds no matter where you look.
Yeah, and shoulds and woulds and all of that stuff. So our big focus will be on education. I just want to talk to people like this. Like, if you have a question, we're just going to talk. We're going to get some podcasts going where we actually interview mothers themselves and start sharing stories of mothers in real life. I love all of the amazing super mother stories, but let's be honest, we're all super mothers. Yes. We are all we all have our unique story. There's a billboard on I-15 drive-in here, and it says, you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. You know what? You're all perfect to your children. And when we can, bring that education and teaching people to be more conscious about how they parent, and just the basics. It's really just, let's go down to basics. So the basics, rebirth, motherhood, the very, very basics of that. That came in a dream this week. It was really fun.
That's just so awesome, because I feel like that's kind of what we need. There's been so many layers of pushing it down into this like almost oblivion. Be like, no, just forget it all and start over.
Yep.
Rebirth
Yep,
really
rebirth
seems like
it.
the best.
Yeah.
Like the best way to describe that. So I remember we were talking before about forgiveness and self-forgiveness. Tell me about your journey of self-forgiveness in regards to being a mom.
You want to grab a tissue?
Sure.
Forgiveness is huge, and I know the tears will flow. So bear with me, but we're being completely authentic, and that's why I'm finally doing this. So with my son was born in 2010, and he's amazing. He was perfect pregnancy, perfect delivery, perfect baby, and perfect child. I mean, he's just truly an amazing kid. And I hid in the dark for 2 years. 2 years of putting on a happy face, and you go through the motions, you go through motherhood because that's what you're supposed to do, and thankfully I did. I was very connected with him through breastfeeding and all that. And when my daughter was born, as people that were close to me that knew about my postpartum, I was not connected to my pregnancy with my daughter. I knew I wanted another child, give my son, thanks Sarah, give my son a sibling, because I was scared that this was going to be my life. And so my daughter was born, and there's no other way to explain it. There's no other way to explain it except for she wiped it clean. She wiped it clean. And I do believe now, as I'm looking back, that there was a reason that I was able to experience complete polar, fourth trimester, as I like to call it, experiences, because this is who I am, and I get to share my story and get to touch other mothers. But I know both sides. I know what it was like with postpartum depression, and I know what it was like without. So my daughter came, and another amazing child. And then instantly the guilt set in, that I have this bond with her that I didn't have with my son. And that's not fair to him. And that's not, this really sucks. And so then that shaming, that mother shame that I'm sure a lot of you all know sets in, that you could have done things better, and what can I change, do all this stuff. And I met a really powerful woman, and she intuitively asked me how my son was, and I said, he's great. She's like, nope, I'm going to ask you one more time. How is your son? And I just started bawling. And I said, you know what? I think he's good. I think he is. And she's like, well, tell me about it. And so I told her, and she says, he knows. She's like, he knows, intuitively he knows, his higher self knows, and my really close friends will know my language. And and she says, but it's okay. It's okay that he knows it, because you get to forgive yourself, number one, and he will forgive you. And you get to make this right, and you get to be better with him. And so she gave me some pointers, and at the time he was 3, so I just got to his level, played with him, talked to him, shared with him, mommy's sorry, mommy didn't know what was going on. And a 3-year-old doesn't conversate in the same way that I'm doing that now, but he loved me. He unconditionally loved me. And through that process, through that forgiveness process, I was able to release the guilt, the shame. And we have created a stronger bond now, and continue to create that, because I now realize that wasn't me. That wasn't my authentic self. That depression, the scariness, the darkness, it's not who you are.
Are you expecting parents?
So it was a humbling experience. It was an amazing experience. So with that, I'm gonna end on that forgiveness piece, but because I know that's a big thing of what Ashley is doing with her program. And so just give me just a minute. I love live because you get the true, authentic me. So I was telling them, I said, I know that forgiveness is a big thing for what you are doing. And so you wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
Grab some water real quick.
Yes. So I really feel like forgiveness, self-forgiveness especially, is a huge thing for moms, because we feel we think about forgiveness as for things that we did wrong, but a lot of times for moms it's for time we wasted that we could have spent differently. And I feel like because it's what we did, what was wrong with us, we see it as a bigger problem than having even done things wrong. If you did it wrong, you can fix it. If you wasted the time, you can never get that time back. And so I feel like the forgiveness of self, of what I could have done differently, is just turning that time over to our higher power, whatever we call that, whether it's God or the universe, whatever that is to us that's authentic, and just give it up. I mean, I really think about those words, like giving up is just lifting off of ourselves and giving it up and saying, okay, if you'll take this, I'll let it go, and release that and say, starting now, it's different now. I'm different, I'm changed, and I'm moving forward with this new me, and just focusing on what you can do in the future instead of going in the past.
Yeah, so. Agreed. And that is a big thing that rings through for motherhood on a day-to-day basis. That, living in the present moment, not guilting yourself for what you could have and should have done. We all know that that's huge in parenting in general, because we have our bad days, and we can stay with those and it can continue to eat us, or we can, release it and move on. And I'm choosing the latter.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm doing that too. All on that there. So, anything else you want to add? Well, one of the questions I asked you beforehand was, if you had 1 minute, what would you say? What would you say just to conclude this and send them off with power into their day?
Yeah, if I had 1 minute, my big thing is I see you. I see, I've always been one of those people, even as a kid, that was, no judgment. That I remember sitting in church, and this story I've told a few different times, but sitting in church watching the speakers, and when you look into somebody's eyes, they physically transform because you're able to see past their physical features. And I remember sitting there thinking, wow, that guy looks different. Oh, if I look at him this way, he looks different. If I look at him this way, he looks different. So in conclusion with all of this, number one, thank you guys for being here, for supporting me. It took this nudge from Ashley to get out there, because I've had other nudges to get on my own personal page and really share my story and share what we're doing over in Village Rising. So I appreciate the nudge, and appreciate everybody that's watching. So in conclusion is that, the village that we're creating, we do have a Facebook group that is live interacting. Moms are coming in there asking questions, and we're going to continue to bring the education, bring that support, working with a couple different people to start doing physical meetings as well. I don't want us just to hide behind our computers. And so we're going to, I'm looking into a few different programs for, mommy and me type courses, because another thing that I realized is those of us with mothers, we want to do self-growth. We want to do, you've got to, work on yourself to be able to give to others. But we also are mothers, and I have 2 small children. And so to be able to put on events where the kids can physically be there, and start empowering our kids as well, start teaching them conscious living, meditation, all of that good stuff. So that's really, really important to me. So stay tuned for that. And then also November 22nd. Yes, I'm doing it. Okay, I've been putting it off, but I'm doing it. I'm going to do a course on the birth of a mother. And it's really kind of taking off the layers of who you are as a person. it kind of stems from, when you become a mother, that's your identity. I go pick up my kids from school. It's, hey, that's Malcolm's mom. Hey, it's Amelia's mom. Actually, I'm Stefanie, and we start losing our identity as who we are inside, and we just become mothers. And so there's this program is going to be around kind of peeling off that layer and showing that you as a mother, you were birthed into this role. Yes, we have innate qualities, but oh my goodness, anybody that went from that transition of complete freedom and no strings attached, nothing attached to you, to becoming a mother, it's tough. It's and there's no playbook on how to do it. And so I think for me, you'll get my personal experiences through this, is that if I was able to release that woman before she became a mother, or even after the fact, to be able to release her and say, I can access her. I'm going to write her in a journal. I'm going to visualize her. I'm going to take her so that when I need to just go sneak away in my closet with my Oreos, I can just go say hello to that old Stefanie. But to be able to release her and welcome in this new mother that now exists, I do believe that that's a part of the healing process of getting rid of the stigma on postpartum depression and saying, what, it's not always easy. It sucks sometimes, and it can suck, and that's okay. But we get to find ways to slowly climb out of it.
Yeah, I love that. And we also, really quickly, we talked a little bit beforehand about women who wish they had children of their own, who are, for whatever reason, because of mental illness or because of divorce or never being married themselves, are not able to have children. And how does being a mother apply to them?
All situations, infertility, everything aside, all women, in my opinion, are mothers. We are mothers of the earth. Hello, your Mother Earth. Our own earth that we stand 2 feet on every single day is a mother. And so all women are mothers. And that is I have some people in our village that aren't mothers, and they just offer support and love. And that community support surrounding the women, the mothers of our community, is huge. Yeah. And I want you all to know that, you're all mothers. My sister is a beautiful doggy mother, and that her baby is her baby, and I support that and love that. And those, that are struggling, our heart goes out to you, and we love you, and we'll support you through that journey. And just, I saw a meme, and I had to post it in our group, that all mothers, all women are mothers, because it is 100% true. We are the creators of life. Like, our bodies are physically made to carry a child, to carry life inside of it. That's a pretty awesome thing. And yes, again, remember, I love our guys too, but that's a pretty cool thing.
We're pretty awesome. It's true. We're awesome.
Yeah.
Growing up on a farm, I really, it's meaningful to me to think of a mother hen. Even those that don't, even those of us that don't have our own children, we're still the mother hen. We're still doing the thing. We're still doing the thing. We're scooping people in. Oh, you need help. Oh, I need, and bringing people in, and that's what we do, and that's the purpose of what you're doing. So I love that. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you all for joining us.
If anybody has any questions, I'll include a link to our Facebook group. But if anybody has any questions, we'll leave it on for a few minutes. Again, thank you. And Facebook Live is some scary stuff, but it's awesome.
Totally
breaking through those barriers.
You rocked it. Awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll end the recording and take any questions anyone has. And definitely, she's going to put this link that she just said in the comments, and you can join her page, keep track of what she's doing. The mentor series is coming up, and for me, with the Stand Up for Women series is continuing on. We have another presentation at 11, and then I'm speaking again at noon, and then we'll have another one tomorrow at 1. This has this is big stuff and it's happening, and I'm excited that you're part of the movement. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.